Hey, how's it going, guys? Shaggy from the Order of Mithril here. And today I'm going to be doing a slightly different video for you. This is going to fall into our open forum, hopes and concerns style video. You may be familiar with it if you watch the videos that I did for Halo Infinite and Battletoads. Now, Apex Legends is a game that I find myself frequenting, and we just got the launch of Season 6. So, of course, whenever they launch into a new season in a game like this, there's obviously going to be a lot of changes. Some that we like, some that we don't like. But I kind of wanted to go over what stood out to me. And so today I'm going to be looking at the patch notes, and I'm going to be kind of comparing them to what I've experienced in the game playing myself. So looking at the patch notes, the armor meta is going to be the biggest change and one of the biggest concerns over the entirety of the Apex community. So they've done away with regular armor, and everything is Evo armor now, which means if you're good enough, you can keep leveling up your armor. They even went so far as to say is that when you drop into the match, you have level 0 armor, but if you deal enough damage, you're going to go into a white armor, and then you can take that up to blue and purple and red. And they're saying that they're doing this because there are times when the loot just does not work in your favor, and that's kind of the way I feel the game is supposed to be played. Not that everybody has a fair chance, but it's supposed to be a little bit of RNG. Sometimes the RNG gods are not going to smile upon you, and sometimes you're going to be completely blessed, and you're going to walk out with some of the best loot off drop. I think that's just the way it's supposed to be played. It's supposed to be a little bit of luck, not entirely skill. I mean, skill is going to carry you further than luck, but that was supposed to be the way BRs were played, I thought. Just in my opinion. Now, another big thing that they did, and this was the biggest concern that I had, was they dropped all of the armor's health by 25 points apiece. So, to me, they're just going a little too far with that one. They're saying that they did that to bring down the TTK in order to better reward strategic positioning, and that to me sounds like they're kind of coddling to the camper, the people who are going to sit in the back with sniper rifles, the people who are not going to jump in. It's one thing to be a third party or even a fourth party. Sometimes those kinds of scenarios make it interesting for everybody. You may not like how that scenario turns out, but that wasn't something that was scripted. It wasn't something that you were used to, and you kind of have to account for it. I kind of feel like they're doing this drastic change to the time to kill because they're trying to draw in new players. And I know I'm not the only person that thinks that or has said that. The people that I watch that main this game, like on Twitch, they're saying it as well. It feels like they're trying to draw more people in. But the problem with that is this drastic change may be pushing some of the people who have been maining this game since its launch or have picked it up since then but have decided to make it their main game or frequent it quite regularly. And if that's going to be an issue where they lose all the people who have been supporting their game thus far just to bring in new people who don't stick with it, they may be potentially setting themselves up for a little bit of failure. And I think that if they are changing this to draw more people in, it may be the wrong time to do it. Because we're coming out of summer and we're going into fall here very shortly. So what happens in fall in the video game world? You have a lot of new games and a lot of new add-ons coming out. You have Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming out, Cyberpunk 2077 coming out, Destiny has a new DLC coming out this fall as well. I just don't think that it's a good idea to kind of play around with your player base. Right now might be the time to stick what is tried and true. So I'm going to go ahead and skip just a little bit further down the page to the Legends section. We're going from the armor to the Legends because I think that everything between those 2 points is interesting and it's okay, and it was expected additions in one way or another, but we're here to talk about concerns right now as opposed to just everything that they did. So it says here, this patch, we're taking a look at the Recon class. When I read that, I immediately knew what was going to happen, because there was a rumor going around that they were going to be reworking the Legends classes. So every Recon class, which would be Pathfinder, Crypto, and Bloodhound, can now all use the beacon so they can see where the next circle is going. And see, I have an issue with this because whenever they did the last big change to Pathfinder, they took his grapple hook from 15 seconds to 35 seconds. And I wasn't happy about that because I was maining Path at the time. And I felt like that was an unfair nerf entirely. Yes, there were people complaining that his grappling hook came back too quick and it allowed him to get in and out of situations a lot faster than most of the other legends. But now they're hitting him again. They're taking away one of the unique abilities that Path had. One of the things that made people want to play as him. So I'm a little upset about that because whenever they did this change to him, they had nothing in place to give him anything unique to separate him from the other two Recon legends. So I'm a little upset about that because if they were going to do that change to make Recon a little bit more universal, they should have had something in place to set Path apart from the other two Recon classes before they took something away from him. To me, that was bad planning. And I understand that they're all working from home because of the pandemic. That's understandable. But if you didn't have something in place, I don't feel like you should have made this change right now. You could have done it at a later time. And while this is a little bit more minor, I'm happy to see that they actually adjusted what was going on with the crypto drone, because I can't tell you how many times I've cussed through my teeth thinking that I should have already destroyed that damn drone to find out that it's just something going on with the game. Whenever you hit the drone 5 times with a prowler in full auto and it doesn't blow up, now you're kind of seeing that, yeah, you're shooting at it, but you're missing it a little bit. So I'm happy to see that they adjusted that, because now I don't feel like pulling my hair out. And to continue with that thought, I'm also happy that they did the little tweak that they did to the EMP from Crypto's drone, because now EMP will slow teammates caught in the blast. It was a little bit of a pain in the butt to get your butt handed to you because you got slowed by an EMP, meanwhile the other team is walking through the same thing that should have affected them. I'm happy that they made that change. Here's where I'm going to bring up another point of contention though. When it came to Loba, they said while Loba was initially very popular, she's been struggling to keep up more recently, so we're tossing her a little buff. The buff they gave her was they lowered the cooldown on Black Market from 3 minutes to 90 seconds. Knowing that that's not why people were playing Loba. People were trying Loba out because they wanted to see what she could change about the movement of the game. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about a streamer that I watch, Fatal Flaw. He enjoys the movement of the game, and it seems like anytime we have a legend that is based around movement, whether it be Wraith, Pathfinder, and now Loba, there's always like some sort of discrepancy from the developers or the community. And I'm not happy about it because I like being able to move around the environment in a certain way too. I'm not saying that just because your legend is based around some kind of movement, whether it be warping, grapple hooking, or teleporting, that you should just be god level. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it seems like any time that there is a movement-based ability in the game, it's under such scrutiny and so many people want to argue about it. I think that Loba's buff should have been that if she throws the bracelet, she can defend herself while she's waiting for it to land and to teleport out. And, or, whenever she comes out of the teleport, not have the momentary lapse of ability to defend oneself. One thing that I am happy that they did was they increased the cooldown of Gibraltar's defensive bombardment from 3 minutes to 4.5 minutes. Personally, I'm happy about that, because I feel that Gibraltar is still an unbalanced character. That's my opinion. Please don't at me over it. But I feel like Gibraltar having the arm shield, the defensive bombardment, and the dome shield with a pretty fast res while you're in the dome shield, I kind of feel like he's a little unbalanced. I mean, you could say that Wraith has one little buff, so is that whenever somebody's aiming at her, she gets a notification from the voice in her head saying somebody's aiming at you. But that doesn't really change a up-close gunfight. Does it prevent her from getting sniped? Yeah, if the player's paying attention to what's going on in the game. But all Gibby has to do is aim down sights, and he's got an extra defensive layer. to me, I kind of feel like Gibraltar needed this nerf. I mean, it's not a drastic one, but I feel like it was needed. And here's one that I've absolutely been screaming for, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one in this camp. Watson got a buff for the interception pylon. The trophy system will now shoot down caustic barrels in flight if they would have landed inside the range of the trophy. Thank God for that, because I am tired of those sneaky caustics coming around and just jump throwing a caustic barrel into the area. It gets old, it gets tedious. I'm glad that it's being done. Looking at the loot now, this is one thing that left me scratching my head. The R99 is no longer in the regular loot pool. It's now in the supply drop. Yeah, they changed what they needed to make it worthwhile for it being a supply drop by increasing the damage from 11 to 12, increasing the magazine size to 32, and giving an ammo reserve of 160. I don't know why this change was made, though. I personally never had a problem with the R99. Was it a highly valued gun, in my opinion? Yeah, if I found an R99, I would grab it. But I also feel the same way about the Prowler. I felt the same way about the PK. I still feel that way about the G7. There are certain guns that I like to use because I like the way that I can work with them, just through my playstyle. So if somebody can illuminate me on why this change was made, I would be greatly appreciative. Because to me, I just don't understand this one, other than the fact that they're just taking the more sought after guns and changing them out through the supply drop and the regular loot pool because they want people to diversify a little bit more. It kind of reminds me of what they did with Gibby. They saw that Gibby wasn't being picked that often, so they gave him some buffs so as that people would start using him in Publix and competitive. But I'm not sure if it's the same thing. So again, if somebody could illuminate me on why this change was made, I would be greatly appreciative. And I'm going to bring up 2 points now that were not in the patch notes that I feel like they should be addressed. 1, the audio issue. I don't know how this game has gone on this long without the audio being addressed. Just last night, I was playing some games of Ranked with some friends online. And I had a Wraith sneak around while I was downed and my teammate was reviving me. Neither one of us heard the Wraith until she shot us. She had to have traveled at least 15 feet and was running when we finally saw her. So we didn't hear her running up on us at all. There's also an issue with some guns that don't put off any audio when they're firing, or half audio, or muted audio. Something is going on with the audio, and it makes for inconsistent gameplay and decision making within the matches. And I, for one, am not happy about it. And I know I'm not the only one that has said something about this and complained about it. I've watched people on Twitch and on Mixer, when it was still a thing, that were upset about the audio. The audio has been an issue since the game launched. It's inconsistent, and I would go out on a limb and say that there's at least a good portion of the community that plays this game that is upset about it. Point number 2 that wasn't addressed in the patch notes, and I feel like it's an issue that should be addressed with the utmost haste. Cheating players. Not because of crappy tactics, but because of things like Aimbot. Now, I play on Xbox, so I didn't see this very much until here recently. I only saw it whenever I would watch people stream this game. So my issue personally was just the other day, right after Season 6 launched, I'm online playing with 2 friends. And me and one of the other 2 guys rushed down on one guy. We were both full health, and we both had blue armor. This guy just picked up a fresh white. We're both shooting him. He 4-taps me and 4-taps him with an alternator. I don't know how in the hell that worked, but I know that he hit me every shot to the head. My friend said that every shot on him was to the head as well. The guy still had enough ammo in that gun to take out our third without reloading when he came around the corner to see what was going on. And I've seen this a lot when it comes down to people that are streaming the game from PC. You have a lot of people that just get in there, and it just seems like the only joy that they have in this game is taking the joy of playing it from other people. And I'm traditionally trying to stay away from drama, but I'm going to throw out an opinion at this point. And you can either like it or hate it. But if you're one of these people that likes to cheat in this game where people actually strive to be a good player and you only do it because it's funny to you that you actually take joy away from somebody else, you're a piece of shit. And you should sell every bit of gaming hardware and software that you own, because obviously you're not good at it. Now that I've gotten through all the important parts that were in the patch notes and 2 points that I felt should have been addressed in the patch notes, I'm going to go ahead and look to the future for this title. When it comes to Apex Legends, it's a lot of fun. It's a game that I enjoy playing. It's a game that I like to get together with my friends and play with a group of people that I can have some laugh with, that I can get into the competitive spirit with. I enjoy this game, so I don't want to see it fail through bad decisions or players that aren't being addressed for the crap that they pull. In the future, I hope that we can find some kind of balance for all Legends while keeping them unique from one another. I'm hoping to see what they do when they actually launch a new map instead of like map changes. I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen with the guns in the game as well, because I don't see them having 10 years of Apex and not introducing new weapons and anything else that they can come up with. I think the team at Respawn is really talented. I like the work that they've done on games outside of Apex as well. I have faith that they're going to do great things with Apex and with the other games that they develop in the future. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to do. I just hope that they change some of the things that are wrong with the game and the direction that they're taking it. But with that all said, I'm going to bring this video to an end. I greatly appreciate you guys stopping by the channel today, and I hope you have a good one.